G'day guys, welcome to another edition of Alive in 5, our weekly videos where we try and curate the world's human optimization content and bring you the best of the best in the worlds of mental wellness, physical health, and overall life philosophy. Today in episode 6 we've got loads to cover, all the way from adult theories of development to free will discussions to the mindset of CrossFit champions, and we'll leave you with a resource for some awesome Stoic philosophy as well. So lots to cover, let's get into it. The first resource that we have today is the theory of adult development that was developed by Rob Keegan. So this is a really awesome thing to keep in mind as you sort of approach your mid-20s. A lot of people think a lot of our development stops when we reach adulthood, and Robert Keegan has actually laid out this whole framework for how we can think about our growth and socialization into our more senior years. So he basically describes 3 key phases of adult development. Most of this is from a psychological perspective. Number 1 is the socialized mind. So this is where we're heavily embedded in our society. Our sense of authority is often placed with others. A lot of our internal identity, beliefs, and values actually come from the way that others perceive us rather than the way we perceive ourselves. So Rob Keegan in his analysis found this is where about 58% of the population sit. The next phase is the self-authoring mind, where about 35% of the population sit. This is where we start to sit back from where society is. We can form our own identity. Our authority starts sitting a little bit more with ourselves, and we start to develop quite a firm identity that's based on our own self-generated values, ideas, and morals. And the last phase is the self-transforming mind, where that sense of identity actually breaks down a little bit, which is kind of contrary to what I would have thought. And in this phase, your sense of identity is rather fluid, and you can adopt multiple perspectives. You often see the connections between ideas. You might actually struggle to form firm opinions on any one thing. So you don't see a lot of black and white. You see a lot of gray space and a lot of nuance. And this is kind of the final phase, because he thought that the ability to kind of adopt multiple perspectives, mold different ideas together, and see those gray spaces was where true maturity and development sat. I thought that was awesome. Click on the link that we have stored on our website for this one if you want to read more about it and how to kind of evolve through the stages, and if you want to learn more about each one in particular as well. This next resource is a podcast, a great conversation between Sam Harris and Scott Barry Kaufman. As many of you may know, Sam Harris is a big proponent for determinism. So he actually rejects the concept of free will based on his study of neuroscience and based on his direct experience through meditation practices and other things like that. But interestingly, in this podcast, Sam really lays out why belief in determinism frees us from a lot of psychological suffering. Definitely check it out for more information, but the basic gist of his argument is that if we believe in free will, then we're essentially responsible for every single mistake we've ever made, and it's very hard to cut ourselves any kind of slack. Versus if we believe that the universe is largely deterministic, we have some control over different things, but often with different mistakes and that sort of thing, there's no point endlessly remunerating on your mistakes if the universe is probably just going to play out like that anyway. Really interesting discussion. I personally don't know where I sit on this. I like the idea of having free will, but I think that might just be an illusion I'm clinging on to as I continue to dive into the science. But have a look for yourself and see what you think. This next resource is a documentary by bodybuilding.com on Matt Fraser. Matt Fraser is a 5-time CrossFit champion. This documentary lays out everything about how Matt Fraser lives and how he's become so successful in the world of CrossFit and the world of fitness. I found it incredibly valuable to watch this documentary just for the fact that you really get into the mindset that he brings to his life, the mindset that he brings to his training, his nutrition, his whole approach to fitness. And I think it can teach us all a lot about discipline, ways to face into challenge, and ways to think about personal growth in the face of really difficult things. The last resource is all about Stoic philosophy. So it's pretty much a shout out to Ryan Holiday, who has made a career out of translating ancient Stoic wisdom into really useful modern pieces of advice. Go check out his website, Daily Stoic, for more. This last resource is basically a shout out to Ryan Holiday, who is an incredible author who's basically dedicated his career to translating the ancient wisdom of the Stoics into a really useful form for modern readers. So his website, The Daily Stoic, has numerous blogs on there about the benefits of Stoicism. Basically, it's for a philosophy for life of how to build resilience, how to build a strong internal sense of control. They talk a lot in psychology about the concept of locus of control. Do you feel like your internal state is the thing controlling your life and your outcomes, or do you feel like you're dictated by external circumstances? Stoicism is an amazing tool and almost, mental model toolkit for bringing that locus of control back to the center, and really, bolstering your resilience, increasing your sense of calm, your sense of focus, and your sense of discipline in a big positive way there. So definitely check out Ryan Holiday if you're interested in Stoicism. He makes these concepts really accessible and definitely very impactful. So have a look at that if you're interested as well. Thanks, guys. That's pretty much it for this week. Links are on our website, as always. You can either scan the QR code there or click on the link in the description, and you can scroll through the resources, see the summaries, and click on anything that you want to explore further. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. Cheers.